Hello all, welcome to bsvtrainings.com. My name is Amit and today I'm going to give you a live example of how to work with outline chain log. So every time you make changes in Essbase outline, you can enable Essbase outline chain log and therefore all the changes can be captured. If you're working as an administrator, many of time you like to keep track of the changes, especially when multiple developers are working on outline and people are making changes. You like to keep track of all the changes done by different developers, and if required the changes can be rolled back. Outline chain log keep track of these changes, but in by default this log file is disabled. You need to enable this under Essbase configuration. Once this log file get enabled, the changes can be captured. As per the definition and description of this, Essbase record all the activities that affect the outline. Right? You're adding a member, deleting member, changing properties. It gets recorded automatically into the Essbase chain log file. Subject to you enable this under Essbase configuration. But there's a negative impact also for outline enabling outline chain log file. It slow down your performance because every time you make changes in an outline, the changes are recorded into your outline chain log file with the extension OLG. So before you decide whether you need to enable and use this log file, you need to also consider the performance related parameters with respect to outline chain log file. So advantage of keeping track of changes in Essbase outline versus the performance impact, and evaluate, and once you identify when you require really needed outline change auditing information to be captured, you enable these properties. What does the log file consist of? If you enable this log file under Essbase configuration file essbase.cfg, every changes you do under Essbase log file gets recorded, which consists of your date and time the changes made, the user who made the changes, the type of changes made, and the more detailed information about the changes are done. By looking at all these changes, you decide what changes are required to be rolled back. Because in order to enable this log file, you need to make an entry under Essbase.cfg file, and every time you make an entry under Essbase.cfg file, the Essbase server required to be stopped and start. Let's see how it works. So what I do first, I enable the log file under Essbase.cfg or under environment. Then I start my server, stop and start my server. I make the changes in my outline log file and see, I make the changes in the outline and then we see what changes are recorded. So let's see. I can right click on server. There's an option called edit properties. Under edit properties, I just restarted my server. So it takes little more time. Once it's and there is a tag called environment, I go to the tag and put these entries. Oops, my server seems not to be started now. Let me start it once again. And in order to ensure my server got started or not, what I do, I start one of the application. Stop or start the application. This way I get to know my server started or not. Okay. Now right click, edit properties. Under environment, I can type the environment right away over here. So I specify Essbase outline. It should be caps. Outline log. We define outline change log true and false. Outline change log true and false, a boolean property, because after making entry you click on apply. The information window specify that after you make changes under Essbase.configuration, it is required to be stop and start in order to see the effect. So I stop my Essbase server. Because I deploy my Hyperion under Windows environment, I can start and stop my server from services, or I can start and stop my server under binary. There are a set of batch files available under EPMA middleware environment, variable, user project, EPM system 1 under binary. So I'm going to stop this and start it. I prefer to run it from command prompt so that I could see the changes. Stop Essbase server and then start Essbase server. Once changes are done, I'll right click and start one of my application and ensure my Essbase server up and running. Now I open the outline, I open the outline and make the required changes. For the sake of testing, I add couple of changes. I add couple of products. I open product dimension, add a sibling, add one member in my product dimension. The change number 1. Right. Then I save these changes. Then I make another change. I added a new member. I'm going to change the consolidation properties, storage property of my product. Right click on product, go to properties. By default is store only, I make it dynamic. This is change number 2nd. And third change I make, I right click and change an alias. Product, change an alias over here. Right, 3 changes I have done. Because the moment you make changes in an outline, the same changes are get recorded under Logfile. And Logfile extension is OLG, which you can find under diagnostic folder. User project, diagnostics, log, Essbase, Essbase server, name of application, sample, and database name basic. You see OLG file, Essbase, outline chain log file got created and timestamp is 439, sorry. It's the latest log file. I can double click and see the changes are done. You see changes are recorded like begin. In my example, there are multiple changes. We'll focus only the changes which made it now. So I look at a timestamp. These are the changes. These are my changes. And the above one are old changes. They are previous changes. Right? So you see the changes start with begin outline change and outline change. The change number 1 was done by administrator and only one change is done. What change we made? New product got added. Right? The operation we perform is added. Second change I did, we change the consolidation property to dynamic calc for product 300. The third change I did, I added an alias to my product. Right? This is how you can keep track of changes in outline. However, if your outline is changes is very dynamic, is highly dynamic, and over the period of time your outline chain log file become too big to manage. So we have one more property called outline chain log file size. Outline chain log file size and define the number. We give the value of this in bytes. So you can define what could be the size of your outline log file. This setting sets the maximum file size for outline chain log file. It's in bytes. So once you reach that size, system automatically transfer this data to the log file to backup file. From OLG to OLB, this is a backup file, and log file get released. So Essbase server copies the content from the separate backup file with the same name as outline chain, right? And the outline chain log file get released. So this way we can control size of the outline chain log file. So that's it for today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to access more videos. Should you like our video, please hit like and keep watching our next video. Thanks for today's session.